Hi all. In this video lecture, we'll be discussing about strings in C. We'll be discussing about character arrays and strings and inbuilt string handling functions like strlen, strcpy, strcat, strcmp and two functions puts and getters. So first we'll look at what a string is. A string is a sequence of characters that is treated as a single data item. When we look at the example of a string, any group of characters defined between double quotation marks is a string constant. So here we have two examples. The first one is a hello world, which is written between two double quotation marks. That is an example of a string. Similarly, the next string is well done. Well done message is written between double quotation marks. That is another example of strings. In programming language C, strings are not supported as a data type. But we can do string operations in C language using array of characters. What makes a character array different from a string? The difference is a string will always be terminated using a special character \0. Next, we will look at how to declare a string. So declaring as a string is as simple as declaring a one-dimensional array. So this one is a syntax for declaring a string. So here first we'll give the keyword char and a space. Afterwards we'll give the name of the string. Any name can be given like name, address, city, etc. Then we'll give the size of the string in the square brackets and then semicolon. So this one is the basic syntax for declaring a string in C. Next we'll look at some examples of declaring strings. So here we have three examples for strings. The first one is a string with name city whose size is 10. The second string is of name student name and its size is 30. The third declaration is a string address and its size is 50. So these are string declarations. When these strings are initialized with some values, the compiler will automatically assign a \0 character at the end of each string. So, when a compiler initializes a character array, it automatically supplies a null character \0 at the end of the string. So next we'll look at how to initialize string variables. So here we can initialize string variables as we initialize the numerical arrays also. So here this is an example. City char city of 9 is equal to New York. So New York is the string that we are assigning to the variable city. So as we count the characters in the string New York, we can see that the string has 8 characters only. Now why are we giving 9 as the size of this string variable? This is because whenever a string is initialized with a value, the last character should be the special character \0. So here city is a string variable. The value of the string variable city is New York and the last character will be \0. So we have 8 characters in the word New York plus \0. So total it is 9. This is another way in which we can declare and initialize the variable city, that is char city of 9, that is equal to new space york, and at last we have the \0 character. So these are the two ways in which we can declare and initialize string variables together. Next, we look at another way in which we can declare and initialize string variables. So the programming language C also permits to initialize a character array without specifying the size or the number of elements. So in that case, the size of the array will be automatically determined by the compiler. So this one is the example. The name of the string is string itself, and we are not specifying the size inside the square brackets. And these are the characters of the string GOOD, and last we have the \0. So automatically the compiler will understand that string has size 5. So this is also another method of declaring and initializing a string. During declaration of the strings, it is not necessary that we give the correct size of the string. We can give much more value for the size. For example, here we have a string whose name is message. Its size is 10. Now, the value we are giving to the string message is good. This has only 4 characters. So, the message will be initialized like this. In the 0th position G, in the first position O, in the second position O, and in third position D. All the other positions will be filled with the special character \0. So this is how the compiler automatically fills \0 to the unused portion of the string. Now we'll look at another example of string declaration. We have a string str2 and its size is 3. We are initializing str2 with a word good. This particular declaration will result in a compile time error because in this word we have 4 characters, but the size we have given here is only 3. So actually str2 should be of size 5, that is 1 space for each character, that is GOOD 4 plus 1 for the null character. So total 5. So if we are giving str2 5 in the square brackets, if we are giving 5, there will not be any compile time error. So till now we have discussed how to declare and initialize string variables. Now we are going to look how to read strings from terminal. So for that we can use the scanf function, and the format specifier is %s. So here a string variable is declared, that is address, and its size is 10. And this is how you can read the value of the string from keyboard. That is scanf, open the bracket, you can give the format specifier as %s, and you can give the variable name address. So please note that you are not giving ampersand symbol here. When you are reading strings using the scanf function, the ampersand symbol before the variable name is not required. Also, the scanf function will terminate its input when it sees the first white space, even if it is a space or a tab, etc. So, scanf function can be used for reading strings from the terminal. We have to keep in mind that you should not use ampersand symbol in the scanf statement. The scanf function has a small disadvantage when we use it for reading strings. That is, the scanf function terminates its input on the first white space it finds. So here the address variable is declared and we are trying to read the value to the address variable using the scanf function. Assume that the user is giving New York as the input. So here the scanf function will be reading only up to new. The space and York will not be read by the scanf function because the scanf function will terminate its input on the first white space. So here after the word new, we have a space here. So scanf function will terminate its reading here. So the address will be having only the value new. So that is one of the disadvantage of the scanf function. So there is another and more convenient method for reading strings in C language, and that is using a function getS. So getS function is available in the header file stdio.h. So this is the syntax of the getS function. GetS, inside the bracket we will give the name of the string and we will terminate using the semicolon. So str is the variable name. That is a string that we have declared earlier. Okay. So because of the disadvantage of the scanf function, we can use the getS function for reading the strings which has white spaces in between. So the getS function will read characters from the keyboard until it finds a new line character. So getS function is a function that can be used for reading strings. Now we look at an example of the getS function. Here a string is declared. The name of the string is line and its size is 80. We can read the value of the string line using the getS function. GetS, inside the bracket, give the name of the string variable and semicolon. So when we execute the program, the value will be read to the string variable line. So this is how the getS function is used for reading the string variables from keyboard. So the advantage is getS function will be terminated only when a new line is entered. It will not be terminated when a white space is entered. Now we will look at how to print the strings on screen. So for this also we can use the printf function with the format specifier %s. So here is the example, printf. Inside the bracket, the first field is the format specifier. For printing a string, we have to use %s, comma, the string name. So here name is the string variable. So give the string variable here. So this is how you will print the strings on screen. Another way of printing string values is using the function puts. So this puts function is available in the header file stdio.h. So here is an example of the puts function, the keyword puts, and inside the bracket you can give the string variable str. So now we will get an example of the puts function. So here this is the program segment. Line is the name of the string. 80 is the size of the string line. GetS of line will input the variable line, and next we have the puts of line function. The whatever be the string in line, it will be printed using this statement puts. So puts is another way of printing strings on the screen. Now we look at a simple program to read and display a string. So first we will include the header file stdio.h, the main function. We will declare a string variable student name and its size is 20, and in the printf statement enter the name of the student, and in the scanf function we give %s and the variable name student name, and we are printing the read student name using the printf statement. So this is a sample program for reading and displaying a string variable. So both scanf and printf functions both use %s as the format specifier for reading and writing the string variables. Next we will look at a very simple example using getters and putters functions. So here in this program, student name itself is the string variable and we are reading the string variable student name using the function getters. And we are displaying the string variable using the function putters. So getters and putters can be used in the same way as we use the scanf and printf function. So the difference between getters and scanf is the scanf function will terminate on a white space and getters function will terminate on the \n character. So this is a very simple example in which we read and display a string. So in the next lecture video, we'll be discussing on more examples on strings. Thank you for watching.